It's a rare but deadly disease, one with the potential to sweep out an entire population. Though discovered 4 decades ago, this is the longest and the deadliest the virus has been, with 1,069 people already dead. And countries including Kenya that are in close proximity with those affected are now on red alert. Apart from the loss of life, Ali Kansachu, an economist, fears the implications of the virus crossing the border into a country like Kenya would be immeasurable.
Of course, if it hit our economy, it's not going to be positive, I'm afraid.
And for a country still reeling from impact of tourist travel warnings occasioned by terror attacks, the last thing Kenya would need is an Ebola outbreak. West African countries hit by the virus are already recording a 3 to 4% decline in their economies.
You can imagine what the consequences are going to be. You know, at least 50% of our economy is consumer-driven, consumer confidence. If that takes a knock, people won't be going out to restaurants, people won't be doing a lot of things. Worst comes to worst, they're going to all sit at home.
The Liberia government, for instance, has already asked its public service workforce to stay at home until the epidemic is contained.
I mean, for example, in West Africa already, a lot of the farming, a lot of the manufacturing businesses, some of them have had to close down.
Kenya depends largely on its tourism sector, which gives one of the biggest boosts to the economy. With the transport system crippled and a world doing everything to stay away from affected areas, it will be the biggest sector taking the biggest hits.
Big corporates obviously are scaling back. As you mentioned, Korean Airlines has already stopped flying here because of the perceived risk. It's a game of perception versus risk, isn't it? And that's the challenge for our national carrier, Kenya Airways, as well. You know, they're obviously feeling, and Dr. Naikuni's a man, I like to take it as word, he's obviously feeling that this problem is being blown out of proportion, that they've got it under control. But it's a balancing act, isn't it? And I think, you know, that equation changes completely if we have a single incident. And that's why, you know, it's a very tough bet to be taking, because it's a zero bet. I mean, one incident happens and then all bets are off.
But probably the most immediate implication is the alteration Ebola has made in our lives. You just may have to think twice before shaking that hand or reaching out for a hug. Is Kenya doing enough to keep the virus away?
I would characterize this as a tail risk. It might look small on the graph, but if it happens, then everything changes.
Esther Kahumbi, Citizen Live at 9.